We have the first flowers on our strawberry plants. In this video, we shall give you our April checklist, and that is 8 jobs that you must do. I put a poll out on our channel and we had a really good response, so thank you very much for that. But what it did show us is that around 25% of you are either really anxious about this coming spring or you're feeling really nervous about it. Usually in a lot of the comments I can see things like, oh, I feel like I'm behind, I'm not in the same place as you. Well, let me tell you, these monthly checklist, jobs to do, seeds to sow, they are a general direction for you. It's not something that you must do straight away. And gardening is meant to be enjoyable. And if you start getting stressed about it all, it becomes less joyful. And to be a good gardener, you need to be a happy gardener. One of the techniques that myself and Mrs. W use, and we have done for years, well actually I say myself and Mrs. W, I think more Mrs. W. At the beginning of every week, she writes a list of jobs that we ought to be doing in the garden. There could be 10 jobs, there could be 15, there could be 20. A lot of it very much depends on the season that we're gardening in. But then once we've written that list, we'll look at the things we've written down and we'll select the 3 most urgent jobs to be done. And we make sure that we do those first, so that we know that the things that are really important are done. And if we get any other time in our gardening day, then we move on to the others. But we just go back to the list each time after that and pick the next important 2 that need to be chalked off the list. And if you're somebody who comes out into the garden most days, you can just go to that list, see what you've got to do, select the 2 most important jobs and make sure that you knock those on the head first. It's a very simple system, old school some people might say, but it does help myself and Mrs. W keep on top of the tasks that we need to do, whether that be sowing or whether that be actual physical jobs that we need to do in the garden. And just to prove to you that we're all only human, I said I think last October it's a good idea to start cleaning your greenhouse and your polytunnel. There's the greenhouse. I cleaned that last October. Still looking good. I didn't get round to doing the polytunnel. And you can see winter's toll has taken on it. This is up near some woodland, and where the leaves have fallen since last November, you can see there's plenty of algae on it. So this is a job that I'm going to be doing this coming weekend. Of course, you mostly see me here in front of the polytunnel. That's much more sheltered from the trees and the leaves and looks very good. While we're on the subject of undercover spaces, do make sure that you check your guttering, any guttering, whether it be on the greenhouse, the polytunnel, your shed, anywhere that leads through a water butt. Give them another good clean out. They will have collected more debris since the last time that you did it. They want to be nice and clear, like our greenhouse guttering. It may be spring, but April here in the UK sees many, many April showers. And that's a free resource for you to be able to water your plants with. Your next task is, if you put your broad beans out in the autumn like we did, right at the very end of autumn, once they're this big, it's time to start getting some supports in place. It won't be very long before they're up here. In fact, they'll probably be up here, Mrs. W.
Could be.
And if we get any strong winds along with those April showers, it will move the plants, and in the worst case scenario it will snap them, and of course you won't get your harvest. So it's well worth doing this now. Even if you only sowed your broad beans in February or even at the beginning of March, they'll soon start to catch these up. So at some time in April, get your supports in place. Now Mrs. W has done this, and she's recycled these straps. They were part of the ratchet straps that go around Beauty and the Beast, but they do make a really good support system, and they'll stop those plants from falling over and breaking. Next job I want to do, and which is quite important, is to feed the strawberries. We saw earlier in the video that we've already seen our first flowers. They possibly won't make any strawberries because I'm sure there'll be a frost that will come along, and when that frost comes along, it will destroy the flowers. But they will come back again. And so give your strawberries a good feed with some of your homemade compost, so that they've got enough nutrients in there to be able to feed. And of course, most importantly, put some netting over your strawberries, because the birds are very, very keen on them. Now, it wants to be bird netting and not the normal sort of enviromesh, which has got really tight holes on it, really small ones, because you need the pollinators to get through. So we want all of the beneficial insects to pass through there, but not any birds. Now, for the indoor ones, I'm going to do a similar thing, except I have added some fish blood and bone, because with these being in baskets, their roots can't access any nutrients from the soil. And I've also mixed a bit of leaf mould in to help with drainage. And that will keep them going for another season. Now, with April being here, many of you will be planting out your brassicas, and if it's known on your plot that you regularly see the cabbage root fly, or you suspect that it might be around, other plot holders have told you, then a really good idea and a job to do is when you plant them out is to make yourself some collars. And this is just from a piece of old cardboard. All you need to do is make a small hole in the middle, a slit down there, and we don't have it, but I'm just demonstrating. If you did and you'd planted your cabbage, just push it on like so. Because the cabbage root flies, it flies in and it lays its eggs as close to the roots as it can. With these, it can't get there, and they need to, if you like, instantly feed as soon as they can. So by just putting them there, it deters that fly from laying its eggs. Now in April, we can still see frosts. Myself and Mrs. W's last expected frost date is mid-April, but it's not to say that we won't see one after that. So always keep your fleece handy, and if you know that you're forecast to have a frost, you can quickly get your hands on it and cover any delicate plants. Now I'm thinking potatoes here, and of course those vulnerable young plants that you will have just put out into your plots. They can still be a bit vulnerable until they've managed to settle themselves into their new home. Fleece is a really good thing to use and to keep handy, because you can just drape it over. As you can see, myself and Mrs. W, we cover ours already with the Enviromesh over hoops. So as soon as we transplant anything, they are covered. And if you've got any particular tips and things that you want to share with our community, then please put them down in the comments down below and share your tips, because they're really helpful for especially new gardeners. And we do get a lot of new gardeners, people that are new to growing vegetables, that watch our channel. And I could fill up a whole hour's worth of video giving you jobs and tips. But people can just browse through those comments and pick up on some of the things and think, yeah, I need to be doing that. Of course, there is still much to sow during the month of April. So for my last job, watch this video next. Have a great rest of your gardening week, and myself and Mrs. W will see you very soon.